Frugal friends, welcome to the Frugal Family. My name is Julie, and today we are talking about those things we don't record. There are things as YouTubers that we will never record, that we will never show you. Things having to do with our very private life, the part we keep private, and things that we see as we're out and about, because even as a YouTuber, there are things we just don't want to share, or we don't feel like it's appropriate to share, not just for privacy and safety, but also because there are things that we do not want to perpetuate, certain trends and behaviors that you will see on YouTube that are just there for clicks and for money and for fame and whatever else and shock value. Those are not what we are into. As a dumpster diver, for instance, I have seen some nasty, horrible things in the dumpsters. Some of you will recall there was the time when there was a dog in a bucket and the dog was turned inside out. You will never see horrible stuff like that on our channel. We will talk about it. You might see like a fuzzy version of it if we happened to have been recording when seeing such horrible things, but you're not going to see graphic details or anything like that. And then there's some things we just plain make sure the camera's off when some things are happening. We don't rush to turn the camera on because I don't want us to be part of that. With our channel, we want to bring happiness and positivity. We want to influence positive change, especially when it comes to consumerism and waste, things like that. But also, we just want to bring happiness and inspiration and motivation and a smile or a laugh or something, that brings joy. And there are certain things that we see in our daily lives and in our travels that are absolutely the opposite of that would make for great, like, titillating, clickbait kind of footage, but they're not true to what we want to be putting out there and what we want representing us. For instance, a couple things that have happened recently that we did not record and that we did our best to either ignore or get away from. When we were recently in Yuma, Arizona, visiting family, we were at a river, swimming, getting out of that horrible heat, having a great time. Well, there is a trestle bridge with a train, a historic trestle bridge that goes over this river. And there were some young folk. I know I make myself sound even older than I am. But there were some kids. They were probably late teens, very early 20s, and they were jumping off of this bridge into pretty shallow river water. And it was terrifying. And I'm there with my sister-in-law and all of our children, and we are just trying to have some fun. And there are these kids climbing up these slick rocks up onto an active trestle bridge that trains went across while we were there, climbing up, climbing over the railing, and jumping off from probably 40 or 50 feet into this pretty shallow water. And I just knew that we're going to be sitting there playing and having a good time, and one of those kids is going to eat it. They are going to jump and they're not going to come back up. And I did my best, so did my sister-in-law, to keep the kids distracted. We didn't want to leave because we didn't want to be forced out of the fun we were having and back into the sun. We wanted to enjoy ourselves. And it was so frustrating and upsetting and disturbing and annoying that these kids were doing something so stupid and so irresponsible, not only for their own lives and their own families, but for everybody else that was there just trying to enjoy the river. Luckily, none of them died. None of them died while we were there. But they just kept going and then dragging other friends into it that didn't want to do it. Not even necessarily, condoning what they were doing, but you could even do a video of saying how incredibly stupid this is. But at the same time, you're still giving them attention, the attention that they want, which then promotes more people going and doing stupid, irresponsible stuff like that in order to get clicks, in order to get views, in order to get money and possibly fame. And we're not having anything to do with that. I wouldn't even let the kids watch them. Let alone am I going to go and record it and post it. So that was one. And then on Mother's Day, this last weekend, Mimi and we met up with my sister at Lagoon, the amusement park, and we had the most fabulous day. It was wonderful. I loved it. It was great. It was great. Well, when it was time to go, we were leaving, and there towards the entrance, we saw some police officers in like full gear. They weren't just the park security. No, they were like full on with their vests and guns and things that kind of looked like grenades, to be honest. But anyway, and I was nervous. I was like, something's going on here. And then some random person stopped me and started talking to me because Mimi and I had our American Girl dolls with us. And we were having this delightful conversation with this stranger. Her name was also Julie, and she was wearing a Disneyland sweater, and she also collects American Girl dolls. It was like kindred spirits. We were meant to meet, and we're chit-chatting and having a great time. Meanwhile, behind me, some cops were gathering with the security guards, and they were talking, and we had been kind of eavesdropping because, I love to see what's going on or know what's going on. I'm curious, just like everybody else. Well, as we're chit-chatting with this woman and only kind of hearing what's going on over here, all of a sudden, I hear this shrieking and screaming and hollering, and they were tackling a girl, really early 20s, maybe late teens. I didn't know what was going on. I looked down at my Mimi. Her face had gone completely white as a sheet, and she was terrified. She had been looking that way. And right away, the woman I was talking to, she turned and we didn't say goodbye or anything, which makes me kind of sad, and walked over to her family, and I grabbed Mariah, and we started making our way out. And as we're making our way out, the shrieking just intensifies, the pitch, all of it, and you can hear the scuffle and friends that were with this girl yelling, and the cops trying to calm the situation down as they're trying to arrest this girl, and you could hear it all over the park. She was as loud as she could possibly be. There were families with children everywhere. We were all there to enjoy a day of, a little bit of normalcy, a little bit of happiness in the park. And my Mariah was just shaking. So we got out of there. And once we got out, I asked her if she's okay and said, it's going to be all right. Let's get to the car and then we'll talk about it. And she kept looking back because she's hearing what sounds like a dying pig. Wow, horrible pun in there, not intended. But anyway, she hears what sounds like torture. And it wasn't torture because my sister had lagged behind and had heard the details. And because she wasn't in the conversation with me and the, random fabulous stranger named Julie, she had heard more of what was actually going on. So we finally get out to the car, way out in the parking lot. I get Mariah into the car, and tell her, we'll talk about it. And then I talked to my sister, and what had happened from what she heard, I have no solid details, only what she was able to overhear, that the girl had pepper sprayed someone in the park. There's no metal detectors, and they don't search your bags at Lagoon, which is, I normally don't think about it much, but lately with all the violence and the, random acts of violence and different things going on, it has, and especially with this incident that happened, has made me, kind of leery of going back to one of my favorite places, which really sucks because we have season passes and we'd love to go there. People ask, how can you go to Disneyland Disney World and stuff, especially, during the height of the pandemic and all this, because there I feel safe. They go through your things. You go through metal detectors. They have all kinds of strict things in place to keep you safe. I did not feel safe, and I did not feel like I was going to be able to keep my child safe. Okay, the girl, so she obviously had pepper spray and had pepper sprayed someone, but because there are no metal detectors and they don't go through your things, what if they were packing? What if things went Wild West and, gunfire breaks out? There were families everywhere. It was very upsetting. And I know the first instinct for a lot of people, even people that aren't YouTubers, but especially YouTubers, the first instinct is grab your camera. And I had my camera, I had my GoPro out, but there was no way I was going to record that. My first priority was the safety of my family. getting my child out of there for her physical and emotional and mental well-being. There are things like that that we will never record. I commit to you right now, I promise you right now that no matter how our channels evolve and adapt as life changes and things happen, there will be changes. We've changed a lot in the 4 years that we've been on YouTube, especially on our main channel, The Frugal Family. We've had to adapt, we've had to evolve, and we will continue to do that. But I commit to you right now, you will never see that kind of stuff. You will never see that kind of stuff on any Frugal Family channel, any of our Frugal Family channels. We will never promote or condone that kind of behavior, those kinds of situations. We are not going to broadcast that kind of stuff. Now, if it were a situation where it was a brutality situation, an unjust situation, and we felt the need to record, if we were not able to intervene in any way, and we felt like we needed to document for proof reasons, that's something entirely different. But still, even so, my first priority would be the safety of my children. So, and it's, even if I felt the need as a citizen to record something that was going down, I would not put it on YouTube. That's not the route I would go. I would turn footage over to whoever could really do something with it, not just get clicks and views. So just a couple of upsetting things. There have been other things too, but just those are a couple of the recent things that we're just not going to record. Those are things we're not going to do. Other things, when we're out dumpster diving, especially in certain areas, there's the homeless population. There's people out just trying to, stay alive and live their lives. We do our very best not to record them. Or if they end up in our videos on accident, I try to edit that stuff out because I don't want to invade other people's privacy that way, for one thing. I don't want to glamorize things. That's the word I was trying to come up with earlier. I don't want to glamorize. I don't want to sensationalize, and I don't want to condone things that other folks feel the need to broadcast to everyone. I don't ever want that to be the aim of our videos and our content. That's not what we want to do here. Anyway, why did I feel the need to tell you about all this? Because it's been on my mind and it's something I was thinking about. And as we are evolving and adapting and growing, I need to chart our course and make choices now, draw my, proverbial line in the sand and commit to my personal boundaries. And if you don't know what your boundaries are, then you don't know how to maintain those boundaries, and who knows where you're going to end up. So I like to have some plans in place ahead of time so that when situations come up, I've already made a decision on that, and I don't need to question if I'm doing the right or wrong thing because I've already decided the path I'm going to take. And for any of our aspiring YouTube friends that are thinking about this, getting into this game, please, if you get nothing else from us, get this, please, and apply it. Set boundaries, set limits, and then stick with those. You don't ever want to regret having put something up because you can never 100% take it down. Even if you delete something, someone else might have already done a screen grab, and what you put on here, it's on here forever in one way or another. Anyway, that's what I've got for you today. I don't want to end on such a morbid, kind of sad, solemn note. So I am just going to say to everyone that joined us for the live stream, whether while we were live or on the rebroadcast on our main channel, The Frugal Family, that was so much fun. That was so uplifting. If you have not seen it, please go ahead and go watch that on The Frugal Family. It was a wonderful time. It was just beautiful. It was so beautiful and so positive and so happy and just really good. Kind of a fill your cup and lift your soul kind of a live stream, and it meant a lot and I appreciated it. Anyway, I'm gonna go get chores done, and then I get to get out in the garden and do some gardening projects that desperately need doing, and I will post about that either tonight or more likely tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Have a beautiful, wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon.